Christ, Ryan.
Fuck you, you fucking fucks.
God damn.
Once Ryan sends me this link, Ryan caught me off guard. I was in a mid-bite of a dumpling, and its juice spilled out on my leg. So thanks.
This isn't very fun, Ryan.
Not fun at all. Where's the fun? What is fun?
We're really live like this.
Yeah, we are live, and we are actually
Really?
now tweeted out live on the College Cross Twitter account at college_cross. And with further ado, Ryan gets things started.
Good Lord Almighty.
I'm Chris
Jake
Jastrzemski,
Nazar.
and that's Jake Nazar. That is correct. So pretty much, this is a 2019 season review. We're already looking to 2020 to start things off. As we know, there are 5 head coaching openings: Navy, Stony Brook, Harvard, Fairfield, and then come July 1st, it'll be Hampton at 5th. We have kind of a read on 2 of them, mainly Harvard and Fairfield. We'll start off with Fairfield. Andrew Baxter, Kyle Georgilis. He's Greek, so apologies on his name. Anthony Gilardi, Brad Ross, Peter Toner in the running for Fairfield. Those were the 5 finalists identified. It sounds like Baxter and Gilardi of Towson are the main 1-2 guys. More of Baxter's the front runner there. And then with Harvard, you have Jerry Byrne, Kevin Cassis of Lehigh, and Sean Curran, fresh off a national championship with Virginia in the running for Harvard. The readings right now from who I've talked to, really heavy on Jerry Byrne taking this job at Harvard. It sounds like he's the first one that will be offered a contract, and it sounds like he will more than likely, unless something changes outrageously in the last minute, will take the job. But readings are Jerry Byrne firmly in the lead for Harvard, Andrew Baxter in the lead for Fairfield. There have been rumblings with Stony Brook. Matt Danowski's name's been thrown out there. A few others as well. Navy's been who knows what. Reppert. Toman's name has been thrown there. Charlie Toomey. Sean Nadalin. A bunch of people out there. But the main 2 people and the main 2 jobs, Andrew Baxter at Fairfield, Jerry Byrne at Harvard. Again, still finalists, still being offered jobs, still interviews, whatever. Still a lot of work to be done. But that is your latest update on those head coaching vacancies.
I published a piece this morning about Stony Brook, looking at some candidates for them. Brian Horton on Twitter asked me if Matt Danowski could be in the picture. When this went out this morning, I did not know, and Chris has clarified. So yes, Matt Danowski seems like he could be in the picture. I had the favorite as Ryan Wellner. I still kind of lean that way. He obviously was at Stony Brook as an assistant with Rick Soule, and then moved to Navy. Good recruiter, has a good track record, ties the area. I had Soule on there himself. If he wanted to go back, I don't know, but obviously he's available, and their best run as a program was with him. Sean Kerwin of Virginia as well. I'm sure he'll be thrown around a lot because of the success of Virginia. Obviously, he did not coach with Tiffany at Stony Brook, but Tiffany was previously at Stony Brook, and he's now with Lars Tiffany. Kevin Unterstein in North Carolina. I tend to think this could be a really good hire. Kevin Unterstein's track record is phenomenal, really. His defenses at Hofstra were routinely they were in the top 15 of scoring defense every single year. And then he did a really good job in North Carolina this year. They had their best defense in quite a while. And then the others I threw out were Andrew Stimmel at Yale. Not quite sure on that one. No, these are Sean just named shots in the dark. Maybe Brad Ross. He's obviously recruits really well in Canada. When Stony Brook had their success early in the decade, they had a big pipeline through British Columbia. And the wild card I threw out was Joe Spolina. This isn't going to happen, but obviously I'm sure many of us would say that he's probably the best candidate for the job. But again, that's not going to happen. So yeah, that's what I had on Stony Brook.
And even now, because I'm still trying to get some things down. So yeah, it's a grind that never stops.
Open market. This is amateurism, Brian. These are kids who do this for the love of the game.
Yeah.
They get a great education. We don't need to pay them one bit. I can't think of one. I really can't. Like for about 114 points, 110, something like that. That's insane. Yeah, I can't think of anyone who is as good as he is. So yeah, the report from Ty Zander said it's due to academic ambitions. Everyone has decided to take that in every 100 million different directions. When you say academic ambitions, it makes you sound like he wants to go to a great school.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, it led you to think of TD last year, where he transferred from Albany to Yale because he was super smart and wanted to go to a great school in Ivy. The thing is with Ivy League schools is that they only admit 8 transfer students a year. Like, you gotta be really, really, really freaking smart. I mean, beyond smart, really, to get in as a transfer student to an Ivy League school. I mean, it depends on the school. Like Harvard, doesn't admit anybody as transfers. So that doesn't happen. Yale admits I think 6 to 8. Penn and Brown are a bit more lenient. Chris Gray's dad went to Brown. Pardon me. So some are more lenient than others. Obviously, I mean, there's other great academic schools out there. Duke, for one. But yeah, I mean, this doesn't necessarily mean that he's trying to, go for that. There have been some rumors thrown around, obviously unsourced, that maybe could be for some other reasons, academically. I expect there will be just tons of info and misinformation thrown out here because this is the biggest transfer in forever. And so, we're going to hear a lot of stuff. I mean, everyone's interested in Chris Gray. If you hear oh, this team's interested in Chris Gray, well, no duh. Everyone's gonna be interested. It's a matter of who he's interested in, and we'll see.
Yeah, the names I kind of heard early on were Yale and Duke. Yale gets it, oh no. Duke gets it, oh no. But I think it's still early, and plus, if you kind of made your decision less than a week after you've kind of officially went in the transfer portal, that's kind of rushing it a little bit. Probably. Now he was also I think getting looked at by Notre Dame before he stuck with BU. If we are correct, but we don't know if maybe things have changed. Obviously, things have changed with Notre Dame.
It's like a lot of all the top black schools are like good schools. Like BU's a good school. Like so like that's kind of the thing. It's like transfer for academic ambitions. It's like even if you went to like somewhere like just people, a Maryland or a Notre Dame or a Syracuse or something like this, these are all good schools. Yeah, I mean it's not like there's no real lacrosse school that among the top programs like isn't known as a good school. Like obviously there's a difference with like Yale and then Duke. Yale, no, please don't. That wouldn't be fun. Duke would also not be fun, but less so than Yale. I don't see. I mean, I guess you could go to Virginia. We've been talking about this in terms of Ivies. Obviously, you think about if academics first, that's your first choice. But would he really want to play with either Jeff Teat or Michael Sowers? I mean, maybe. Probably not. Maybe, but I mean, if he goes to Cornell, Teat's the senior. Teat and Sowers are both going to be seniors, and they're the incumbents. So even if he's a better player than either of those, I think he's definitely a better player than Jeff Teat. Michael Sowers, flip a coin. But he's probably going to have the ball less often than he did at BU. And I don't know if he wants to, necessarily share share the ball spot like that. Yale, obviously they do have Jackson Morrill, but Jackson Morrill played, as a as kind of a wingman with Ben Reeves last year, so he can probably do that. Penn has an opening at attack. Simon Matthias has graduated, so they would have no problems there. He'd be the guy. Duke needs an ex-attackman badly. That's what they really need. So he'd fit in seamlessly there. Notre Dame also he'd fit in seamlessly there. They need an ex-attackman. Maryland he would fit in seamlessly. Obviously Maryland has two great attackmen as is, but they have an open spot there, and I'm sure they'd make room for him, and that'd create a friggin' King Ghidorah of an attack unit. So yeah, that's some. I mean, there's a lot of schools where, Virginia, like, would he fit in? I mean, they could move. I hate to speak in terms of like midfield and attack because it really doesn't matter. You just throw your 6 best players out there now and see what happens. But Virginia has Moore and Laviano and Krause, and so yeah. I mean, this is all speculating. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. I think what I was hearing was he's trying to be a business major. So I would think he would want to get into like a business school, and being a Syracuse guy, Whitman's a decent business school. I don't know if maybe Syracuse and Chris Gray have any mutual interest with each other, but
Maryland's kind of in the same track.
Maryland too, yeah.
In terms of business school. Yeah, I mean there was a rumor on FanLax this morning. I'm not suggesting this is like go run and believe this. That he didn't get into the BU business school, and that was what prompted this. Again, this is all unsourced. It's hearsay. Who knows? But if that's true, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to see you like jump into an Ivy if you can't get into a BU business school. With all due respect to the business school of Boston University. And my thing was just from the beginning. It's like again, they admit so few people that it's like, it's just hard to get in. It's like, man, if you could get in now, couldn't you have got in 2 years ago? But I mean, that's yeah, like TD is apparently like really, 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 really ludicrously intelligent. Like, I mean, again, they don't admit many people transfers. Period. Like Harvard, for example, he's not getting into Harvard. Like Harvard admits no one. And they're not going to make exceptions for athletes. Like Duke maybe could make an exception for an athlete. That they're a bit more lenient in terms of.
Well, yeah, with Peter Conley, but I think it was more graduate school too.
Yeah, I think Peter Collins was graduate school. Yeah,
He was.
I think so. Yeah, so yeah, Duke's a bit more lenient with it. Yale maybe can be more like Harvard, for example. I mean,
Who was Duke's Fogo in like 2015, 2016? Who came from Stony Brook?
I'm gonna look it up. Oh, you want to do it live, Ryan?
Yeah, you did. I can find out.
Okay.
I remember because he went from his brother was at Duke.
Was it Kyle Rowe?
Kyle Rowe. It was Kyle Rowe.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
That's just because Chris Rowe or something Rowe was
already
there, and then after his freshman year, he transferred in to Duke.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of just lacrosse things, I mean, Duke's an obvious fit, because they need an ex-attackman badly. Penn, another one, because they also could use an ex-attackman now with Simon Thies graduating.
Austin Thies, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, they also gained Patrick Birkinshaw, by the way, he had transferred.
Oh, yeah, that too. That's
Michael Ubriaco, former Villanova LSM at Maryland as well. So those are really the two biggest ones right now. Miles Thompson, Griffin Thompson's younger brother, goalie at Penn, on the transfer portal. With Birkinshaw coming in, that's probably why. Could see maybe what if he goes to Virginia. So it's kind of like a faux trade, which could be lopsided in Penn's favor.
Yeah, Patrick Birkinshaw, that's a good pickup for Penn. Reed Junkin's graduating, so that keeps them kind of in the mix. Yeah, Penn, Ubriaco's a good pickup for Maryland. Maryland needs some polls, and he had a solid year.
Grozowski was a senior?
Yes.
Okay.
So he can slide in there. I don't know if he could. I don't know if they'd move him to close, maybe, but either way, they need some help there. And so,
I agree.
Yeah, back to Gray. I mean, yeah, Penn's obvious fit. Duke's an obvious fit. Notre Dame would be a fit. Syracuse would be a fit for sure. Maryland would be a fit. They can make it work. Yeah, again, Yale I think Yale's a bit different because I mean they have Morrill there.
Jackson Morrill, Morrill.
Yeah, but again, Morrill. I think Morrill played with Reeves, and did fine as kind of a.
Well, who are you going to take out if you have Gaudet, Brandow, and then you have Morrill?
I don't know. Stick someone at midfield. Whoever plays midfield best.
Didn't Gray play a little midfield? I think Gray played a little midfield freshman year.
But
I don't know if you want to do that with that kind of talent.
I mean, again, I hate to speak like midfield attack because I mean these days you can find just whoever you want to put on the field and put them on the field. Put your 6 best offensive players on the field. And Maryland did it with Connor Kelly. I mean, he was listed as a midfielder, but he never played midfield.
He's really an attack.
He was an attack. He never left the field. So you can figure out your ways to do it. But yeah, I think obviously it's interesting. It obviously changes the tenor, direction of the national race big time. I mean, a school gets him, he's worth at least 2 to 3 spots for you in terms of like a preseason ranking. Same way the TD was for Yale. I mean, that kept them probably in the top 3 or 2 they were preseason number 1. If they wouldn't have been preseason number 1 if they didn't get TD. So I mean,
who knows where they would have finished?
Well, they probably would have lost to Georgetown without TD. So
probably.
Yeah, but Chris Gray, I mean, we're talking first-team All-American kind of guy, for sure, in my opinion. I don't know if he made it or not, I can't remember.
I think he did.
Yeah, but, so, interesting. Yeah, it's huge.
Huge. First goalie to ever win it, too. definitely. But I think my thing is, I was hoping that with what we saw, Brandon Ament who had a record-setting season in terms of assists, shattering the NCAA record in terms of assists. That doesn't give you a Tewaaraton kind of, at least final or trophy for that kind of historic leading the nation in points and assists, record-setting points, and I get
25.
Yeah, I get
5 points.
I get Pat Spencer was like the man at Loyola, and he had 10, 11-point games. But
it was a ludicrous group of guys. I mean,
yeah,
but it should have been Amen.
It should have been, and that's where I was kind of like trying to figure out, and I was trying to just figure out just like on my own time, like the selection committee, 17 coaches and a chairman, and comparing it to the other sports, you have some sort of media voting in this as well. And there are some people who are like, oh well, coaches see more than the media do. Well, of course they do. They freaking coach. They play this game. They know what they're discussing and talking about, and they know what they're looking at. But the media also covers the sport as well, and they cover some of these guys maybe even more often than some of these coaches that are on there. How many times do maybe a High Point guy might be watching Loyola film, whether it's scouting or they're scouting another team or they're actually scouting Loyola. Rarely, maybe once or twice over the entire year, but you're not really watching Spencer. I don't want to connect that with, I think Ament would have won, but I just thought that maybe it would be a time to maybe expand the voting process. Pat Spencer certainly deserved it. I just thought in that year, Grant Ament should have been the winner based on the overall season, which is what the award is about, the season award. No, not real.
No, I mean he's not wrong. No, Ament should have won. I mean, the way I picked. We were throwing around our group chat. I said Spencer because Penn State didn't win the national title, so that gave them the opening to give it to Spencer because they had never gave it to Spencer before. And look, Spencer would have been the best player to never win the Tewaaraton if he didn't win it.
By far. And would have felt weird.
But, and it would have felt weird. And then it's like, well, look at it by each individual year. And it's like 2016. He definitely should have been a finalist. No doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
But Dylan Malloy was the best player. 2017, he was a finalist. But, I mean, he had slightly better numbers than Matt Rambo, but Matt Rambo led Maryland to the national title. Maryland played a more difficult schedule. Rambo deserved it that year. Last year, he was a finalist and absolutely worthy, but Ben Reeves set the NCAA tournament record for points, ended up having 115-point season. He should have won it. And then this year, Grant Ament had 125 freaking points, just the second most in the history of NCAA lacrosse, Division I. It's yes, it would have been weird if he had never won it, but it's it's a year-by-year award, you know? It's for each individual season. And so it's yes, it would have been extreme. Pat Spencer over 4 years is one of the best attackmen of this decade, one of the 2 or 3 best attackmen of this decade. But in each, he, over his 4-year career, was better than all these guys that I'm listing. He was better than Reeves over 4 years. He was better than Rambo. He's better than Ament, though Ament probably will put up another 100-something points next year. He was better than Malloy or whatever. But in those individual seasons, I don't know if he was ever...
By the way, Ament probably would have broken the points record if he didn't miss that Golden State game.
He would have.
More likely.
Or if he didn't play the Maryland game he left early at 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ament had 5.5 assists per game, which is the second most ever, and the guy who's first was Orville Wright of Swarthmore in 1953.
Shout out Philly. Yep.
He had
Redenbacher.
He shattered the assists. He had 18 more assists than Steve Morrill at UMBC in 92 and Lyle Thompson of Albany in 2014. He put up 120. His points per game mark is the best of any player this century. I mean, the guys ahead of him played in 81, 79, 92, 80, 78, and 75. He averaged 7.35. It was better than Lyle Thompson in 2014. And with all respect to Lyle Thompson, who I think is the best player I've ever seen. Grant Ament played a tougher schedule.
He did.
So this was probably the best season that I've seen from a player, and maybe anyone's seen. And yeah, he didn't win it. He should have won it. With all due respect to Pat Spencer, who is phenomenal.
Yeah. And we also have the discussion of what is most valuable.
Well, I mean, like, Penn State had other weapons, for sure. And this is a phenomenal Penn State team, that had, so many ludicrous depth and lots of great players. But, Matt O'Keefe scored 35 goals last year. He scored 78 this year. That's 43 more.
You take away a Grant Ament, like last year, Penn State isn't even in the Big Ten tournament.
No.
2 years ago, they were number one team for a week. This year, they were number one team for a lot of weeks. They won their first tournament game. Grant Ament helps everybody around him the same as Pat Spencer helped everybody around him. We'll find out, the losses of how that affects the Loyola offense next year when Spencer plays basketball.
Yeah, it felt like Penn State was so good that people missed. I mean, last year, Penn State's leading scorer had 46 points. It was O'Keefe and Nick Spillane as well. This year, they had 5 guys who had more than 46 points. Jack Kelly scored 42 goals this year as a sophomore. Last year as a freshman, he didn't really play. Obviously, he improved, but it's man, Dylan Fold scored 43 goals this year. Last year, he scored 21. All these guys had these huge jumps of points. Yes, because they are all great players, don't get me wrong, but the reason they had guys who scored 78 and 43 and 42 and 30, is because Ament is a once-in-a-lifetime type of passer who can make any pass in the book and who seeds everything on the field at a ridiculous level and is just such a well-rounded attackman. It just kind of felt like he got lost a bit that, him coming back changed that team.
By far.
And, I mean, so, yes, if it's not most valuable, but if we're talking valuable, there is a lot of value in the fact that all these guys got better than they did last year, and they went from a team that didn't make the tournament to being what I still believe was the best team in the country over the entire season. Obviously, yes, Pat Spencer was incredibly valuable for Loyola, and I think they will hurt quite a bit without him. But, if we're talking about that, it's, Ament was certainly very valuable himself.
Would it be more bothersome to you if this year Grant Ament won the tour time and Pat Spencer never won a tour time, or vice versa? Pat Spencer won it. What happened this year? Grant Ament with the year he had didn't win it.
Yeah, it bothers me more that Ament didn't win it this year and that Spencer never won it. That's. I mean, look, it's
here's another thing too. Maybe what if Grant Ament doesn't have another big year like he did this year?
Yeah, that's the thing, because people do this in sports a lot. They're like, "Oh, he's got next year." Well, have you not watched sports where guys get injuries, get hurt? Yeah, things happen. Leonard Fournette, I always felt should have been a Heisman finalist in 2015 and maybe won it. And they're like, "Oh, it's fine. He's got next year." Oh yeah, well then he hurt himself in spring practice and wasn't the same player though. It's it's also just dumb. It's so what?
Yeah.
The award's on this year. Who cares if he's got next year? So no, yes, again, obviously it would have been weird if Pat Spencer didn't win for him, but it being weird doesn't necessarily mean it was wrong.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I mean, the thing is, they generally we crap on them quite. Oh, I mean, there's been some, Ben Reeves last year, good. Matt Rambo, the year before that, good. Dylan Malloy, good. Lyle Thompson, good. Lyle and Miles. Lyle himself, but that was a nice thing to do, so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Pennell, yes. Peter Baum, yes. Steele Stanwyck, no, this was bad. That was pure picking the guy who won the national title. Because he had the great NCAA tournament. That should have been Pennell that year. Ned Crotty, that was good. Max Theobald. No. This was the one where we all went all leadership. he's a preternatural leader. So we're awarding the Torton because the guy from birth was meant to lead people. Okay, that's a little weird. Mike LaVille of Syracuse. This was fine. It should have been Matanowski, but it was okay. It's okay. Matanowski the day before, that was good. Matt Ward, Virginia.
ESPN colleague Matt Ward.
Yes. That was a weird year. Like, there wasn't a lot of great players that year. I mean, like, Ward's numbers, with all due respect to him, he's a great player. For that year, he had 67 points. That isn't going to win you a Torton normally, but, I mean, yeah. Yeah, 06 weird. There were not. You look at the finalists, like, there were not a lot of great players. Or not a lot of great players, but, like, truly, like, transcendent kind of talent. Kyle Harrison, Johns Hopkins, that was fair. He did everything. Mikey Powell, fair. Chris Rotelli, no, that was weird. It should have been Steve Deso at Georgetown that year. Mike Powell again, fair. Doug Shanahan of Hofstra, fair. So for the most part, this has been fair. For the most part, they get it right.
Mm-hmm. My other question is,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. My question here is as well. Like, I don't want to make this like script the Torton selection process, but like, when does the committee vote? Do they vote after the games are done? Do they vote during the tournament? When?
They absolutely have to vote after the tournament because there's been plenty of cases where guys won it because of the tournament. And that's weird. I mean, it's... Personally, I feel it should be done before because not everyone gets to play in the NCAA tournament. I mean, Chris Gray didn't get to play. Michael Sowers didn't get to play. And these are not their faults. Like, it's not Chris Gray's fault, but you didn't make a tournament. It's not Michael Sowers' fault Princeton didn't make the tournament. And so, like...
We have some, a little bit of confirmation news from Mr. Ty Zanders of Inside Lacrosse. Hearing the same on both fronts, Fairfield's paying significantly higher than anticipated. That is also what I've heard, attracting some very qualified candidates, but this is what I've gathered. See here. Harvard did a ton of Skype phone interviews, but the pay is still known as a few days ago, which I also don't really know the pay there. Okay. Ooh. Does he go to Yale? Aha.
Another one from Sanders, speaking of kind of Stony Brook, rising junior Nolan Enegas has entered the transfer portal. He went 52% as the primary faceoff man. He's going to explore new options because they're new coaching staff.
Stony Brook was not. Let's say this: if your best player was an LSM last year, it's not good.
No.
They have a ton of good LSMs.
The women's Torton. Just wrap this up here. I think it was. I guess one point. Yeah, I think the Torton should be awarded before the NCAA tournament is played. That's my opinion. I think the Anders Award. The Anders Award is kind of in between. It's kind of like before the Final Four. I don't know when they vote on it though. That might be it. Yeah. For the women's, people are kind of viewing a goalie as a bit suspicious. I get that. But Megan Taylor is just a different level above every other goalie in the country. So she kind of stands alone in her own category to that. She was to me, most valuable player throughout the Final Four. Great game against Boston College in the championship game. Really good against Northwestern. Great throughout the entire tournament. I mean, Maryland won the national championship primarily through their defense, especially in that game against BC. And she is kind of the leader of that defense. And she had a great year. There were other options. If they had given it to Apuzzo again, it would have been perfectly fine. Sam Apuzzo's a phenomenal player. But I think Taylor was worthy as a goalie. Look, and also people just get mad because Maryland's won this thing like 7 out of the last 8 years. There was one. There was only one, but yes.
Congrats to her and all the women involved. That is correct, and luckily this is our third year doing it. Started in 27. I'll say it started in 2017 because we had a boatload of really good freshmen. Teat,
Yeah, that was great.
Sowers. Some people think I was hating on Teat. I kind of was until like
some people.
Some people.
We have the tapes, Chris.
You do. They are still available on our website.
Audio.
They are still available. So we had 3 teams, honorable mentions as well. For the teams, we had 3 attackmen, 3 midfielders, 3 defensemen, Fogo, LSM, a shorty, and a goalie. Pretty much what a team actually should be, unlike some USILA teams of the week where they have like a billion attackmen and like 1 defenseman, or none. First team, I'll go by them quickly. Matt Brandow, Joey Epstein, Brandon Nickturn at attack, Sam Hanley, TJ Post Malone, and Chase Scanlon at midfield. Chris Conlon, Kate Sawstad, Cam Wires at defense, Peter LaSalvo, your Fogo, BJ Ferrari, your LSM, Jake Stevens, your shorty, Tucker Mazier, shout out to him, Princeton assistant. He kind of said like he's like a really like going to be maybe a Ryan Conrad-esque player, but he compared him maybe like a right-handed Joel Tinney. And then Chase Erlin, your goalie. Tire list on our Twitter page, collegecross.com as well. Or maybe your favorite team has already tweeted it out, which a bunch of them have. Penn, UMass Lowell just now as we were recording. Canisius, Jacksonville, bunch of other teams. Shout out to all of you. Cornell has done something. Brian did a GIF. So, yeah, shout out to everyone involved, and shout out to all the freshmen that were on this list. Congrats to all. Again, love to give the rookies some love, and they definitely should get some love. It's only growing. So finally, we're doing the year review after Nice. That's typical us.
Well, I had a lot to talk about.
We did. The 2 main... Well, I think...
Shock Hawk was good and the dive was bad.
The sub box was also good. And I know that's too technical, whatever, but the substitution box getting smaller was very good.
Nope.
Oh.
Oh, I know why. It's because Denver lost the tournament game on a dive, and Big Bill Tierney got a little mad.
Ding, 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 ding.
That's why.
Mm-hmm.
I would make one. I'd make one alteration. The reset not to 80.
Yeah.
It's too long. It's too long on defense, I think, for teams.
I would say 60. I can do 60.
60's fine. I can do.
But
I can even do 40. But I think 60's a good spot.
I think 60 is perfect, and plus, I'm fine with they didn't do the reset this year, just to make sure like everything ran smoothly with the 80 reset as well, just to make sure like this is a new rule. Who knows how capable some of these timekeepers are? So I think 80 is fine. I think if we get to 60, that'd be great maybe next year, as in 2021. I doubt 2020.
Nah, too soon.
Yeah, it's a little too soon. Yeah, but they can always adjust each year, but I doubt an adjustment like that will be for 2021. Or for 2020, excuse me.
I think 60 would be good. The crease dive should just go.
So I like the dive, but I just don't like the rule. The rule, how it's written, is dumb. And coaches, like I was at the IMLCA convention in December, and a ton of questions arose about the dive and how the goal mouth thing was being instituted. Either get rid of the rule or change the rule to make it, less confusing and don't need the goal mouth. And if you dive in the crease and ball doesn't go in, that's a penalty on you. Or at least, I should say, let me say this: if you dive in the crease, ball doesn't go in the net, you get a penalty. If you dive in the crease, ball goes in the net, it's a goal.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just there were some ones that it added some. Guys made use of it. Jared Bernard was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He made quite a good use of it. It added an option for guys that I think, kind of led to more goals and helped. But, how many... One, I think the penalty should not be 1 minute. Like, the whole thing where it's like, it's 1 minute on sportsmanlike conduct because you ran to the goal. It's like, But, so, I just don't think it's I don't know if it should be a penalty. Okay, you ran in, you went in, okay, you ran to the goalie. If you go into the goalie and you score, no goal, team gets the other ball, go down the other way. We don't need to make it a penalty. It's just too hard. Some of the ones, it's there were quite a few times, yeah, and some of the guys got pushed, and they didn't call the push, and it's and they're oh, it has to be a clear push them. It's man, it doesn't take a lot of contact to send you, when you're going that fast, into, the goal area. And so, yeah, the rules, yes, in some ways it helped, but it's also, as Ryan said, I don't know what we, really felt we were badly missing with this. I don't feel it was something that, we were just, we so badly needed, in the sport. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Oh,
that trends.
Oh, trends.
I think it's going to probably go up.
I think we might need to readjust kind of the way we look at kind of defenses. I think we kind of looked at some teams who were giving up 10, 11 goals per game, and we kind of thought that was mean their defense was necessarily weak. And it's I don't know. That might be kind of a new normal in a way. I think goals are going up. Teams are scoring more goals. And so I think it might be a case where, if you give up 10, 11 goals, you might not have had a bad, year. If we look at, I can pull up maybe the stats here for, because, I know last year, if you gave up around, 10.5-ish goals per game, you were in, the 40s in terms of, that was bad, kind of, as a defense. And obviously, it's not, an exact, marker. Defensive efficiency can be used better. It's not exactly, kind of the best indicator. But it was clearing was a big one, obviously, that, teams, it went from, the best clearing, clearing normal, a lot of teams were above 80%, and now that kind of knows that a bit. And it's for this example, there were 31 teams last year, or let me check, 30, who gave up, less than 10 goals per game. This year, the 30 best defenses, were all below 10. I kept them in single digits. This year, in terms of scoring defense, there were 9. That's a lot. That's a big difference.
That's a big difference.
You went from 31. If you give up 10 goals per game, you were the 30th best defense in Division 1 last year. You gave up 10 this year, you were the 10th best defense in Division 1. That's a big jump. So I think that's something that, you might need to kind of, just maybe analyze a bit more, is, kind of the way that when we view defense, I think it's sometimes hard to kind of change our perceptions, but that, now, if you're giving up maybe 10, 11 goals per game, normally if you gave up 10, 11 goals per game before, we thought your defense was a weakness, and it's the leader in, this year, last year UMBC had the best defense in the country, and they gave up 7.7 goals per. This year, the nation's leader in terms of scoring defense was, just going through the NCAA one because no one else has good stats. It was Air Force at 8. So I mean, it didn't change in that regard, but there were like a couple below 8. So like yeah, I mean that's kind of a big thing I think that could be worth knowing. I mean like 31st this year in 30th in defense this year was Towson at 10.81 goals per game. That gave you the 30th best defense. It was giving up a shade under 11 goals per. Last year, if you gave up a shade under 11 per, you were the 46th. I mean, and that's a big jump itself, about 16 spots. And for the same goals per game. So goals allowed per game. So I think that's a big one. Is in the future, goals are going up, and so teams scoring defense numbers are also going to go up. I think that's kind of a thing. We often viewed not that defense doesn't matter anymore because I still believe it does. But maybe it's more on. Yeah, I mean, but more maybe it's on your goalie quite a bit more. Whether you have an elite goalie or not might make more of a difference as opposed to your overall group. Yeah.
Yeah. And I highlighted that early on too, kind of recognized that trend early. All right, we've had 20 save guys already. That's probably going to be an unintended consequence. More going to be on your goalie to stop these shots, with maybe more of these shots happening with the shot clock.
And it's I don't know what the goalie save percentage numbers were overall. I don't know who the leader was this year. I
think it was Sean Scanone of UMass.
Yeah, Sean Scanone of UMass. He still saved. Sean Scanone of UMass had 61%. He had 100 of Jacob Stover Loyola. I mean, there's a lot of guys who don't play a lot, so they have numbers. But in terms of guys who had substantial numbers, like over 100, over 150, Scanone had 61%. Jacob Stover Loyola had 58. Matt DeLuca of Delaware had 58. AJ Barretto of Army had 58. A year ago, the leader in save percentage was Alex Hager of UMass at 60%.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, Nicholas Schutt of Vermont at 61. Now, I mean, it wasn't a big save percentage. Kind of.
Well, Schutt is at 6.3 this year.
Yeah, it kind of stayed a bit steady in terms of the top guys, but I think there were a bit more guys last year, kind of in the kind of high 50s, 60s. Now this year, kind of a bit more of the usual great goaltender was a bit more kind of 55, 56, 57. That was a good number. So, I mean, this year even 50% maybe necessarily around. In the future, it might not be a bad number for goalie. Well, before, if you say 50%, you won't get much for goalie.
It's middle of the road right now. You're about, if you get 50-ish, you're Kyle Mullen 50.9 to Phil Goss and Liam Donnelly, who made 50% right on the dot. Alexander Hunt of NGIT made 49.9.
Yeah, I mean, obviously goalie play. That's that's in terms. I think that's maybe the biggest trend in terms of. I mean, the clearing one obviously that played a huge part. More early in the season, I think teams kind of got more used to it as the year went on. I think it kind of improved. I may be wrong, but I don't think it played as big a role as it did early when some teams really had problems. In terms of teams trending up and down, Oh, okay. Well, I mean, let's start. All right, trending up. Penn State. I should say Virginia. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Virginia hadn't won an NCAA tournament game since 2012, and they won the whole shebang. So Virginia, obviously. Penn State.
There were people that were I think it was one of them that was buying on Virginia winning the title this year.
I mean, they were expected to be very good. I mean, but they were.
I think the majority of people didn't see them winning it this year. I think we had them
6th, and I feel like
I was a little bit higher on them.
I feel like that's where they were. I think they kind of rode a bit of luck, and I don't have nothing wrong with that. I mean, they were a great team.
Obviously.
But I feel like maybe they were kind of a 4th and 5th team that kind of got a lot of bounces that went their way.
Crossbars.
One of them. That maybe kind of helped them out a bit. But yeah, Virginia trending up. Penn State they were the best team in the country for me all year long, and they bring back pretty much everyone. Penn, for sure.
Yep.
And that's a big one that improved mightily after, Penn had not won a tournament game, obviously, in forever, but they hadn't even really been in the conversation for, a long time. And you look at them next year, they lose some fast, but Adam Goldner scored 56 goals. He's back. Sam Hanley, first-team All-American midfielder as a freshman. Sean Lully.
Defense, all but Noah Lehman.
Pretty much all the defense
and
is
Reed
back.
Junkin.
Reed Junkin is gone, but they bring in Patrick Birkinshaw. So that should help them up quite a bit. So I think Penn's trending up. I think any other ones trending? I think Georgetown. I know their result was the same as this year, but to do it again.
Bucaro gone, Wittenberg gone.
Yes,
defense is solid.
Yes,
offense needs something.
Tough.
Caraway, I think, is still there, which helps.
Caraway's but they also had McDermott and Watson as freshmen played pretty darn well. James Riley as a freshman also got some time.
As a Fogo, yep.
Yeah, Gibson Smith back on defense. Joe Lacalzi back on defense. Alex Monzon, a freshman.
Mm-hmm. Randall McElroy, the two goalies, underclassmen.
Yeah. Randall was pretty darn good for a freshman. His number's solid, 55%. So
in 3 games, yep.
Yeah, to do it again, remember they lost quite a bit from the defense last year. Obviously, the goalie, whose name
Nick Morocco.
Yes, I always blank on his name. But so yeah, I think Georgetown is definitely a program to me trending on the up. Army, I think they to get back into the NCAA tournament.
Defense, however,
losing Johnny Sturdick, one of the
Barretto gone. They need a Fogo.
They were horrendous on Facebook, so bad. But Nick Turns, a freshman, Miles Silva, Sean O'Brien, Matt Manown, juniors, Nicholas Garofano, a sophomore, Connor Witta, junior. Defensively, it's not like they don't get. Tom Rigney's back. He had 50 GBs. Kyle Byers back. He had 25 GBs, 11 calls, turnovers.
Marcus Hudgens, of all freshman choice at LSM.
Yeah, they got some good guys. But yes,
Nick Turn definitely changed that offense because that offense needed a pop. He's that pop.
He's got a pop. And Miles Silva, benefited greatly. The all-time greatest stat line ever: 39 goals, no assists, 39 points.
Wow. Yep.
I love it. Trending down,
Michigan, maybe.
Michigan, I think we were a little too high on. We were too high on them. Rutgers, I think, just kind of where I thought they'd be. I think they lost. They were very young this year, Rutgers. In terms of Adam Sherman-Beatties, was experienced, but like Ryan Gallagher was a sophomore, Tommy Coyne was a sophomore, David Sprock played time, he was a freshman, Michael Sanguinetti was a sophomore, Cole Daniger, Joe Peterson, they got time as freshmen, Garrett Bullitt is a sophomore, they'll lose Max Edelman, which is tough for them, but beyond that, they bring back pretty much everyone from that offense.
Aaron Pounds had 2 games, won those games in goal.
Charlton Beatties, Mullins, Gallagher, they're all back on offense. And honestly, I think they were probably a bit better than their marker. This is true of Rutgers. They got to find some ways to win these close games. That's kind of the issue. But I think they're fine. In terms of turning down, Loyola, I think. Yeah, but it's with Pat, they didn't get better from last year. They didn't.
Yeah, same spot.
They got to the quarterfinals and they
lost
pretty much did the same. I think people kind of looked at it as, maybe this could be on paper, maybe a final. You look at that one, you lose Pat, obviously, but then it's, you lose John Duffy, who was not great, but he was a guy who could hit some shots from the outside, and it's now, I don't think they have any other guys who can kind of hit from the outside, like Lindley's. Scanlon maybe, but I think I kind of view him more as a really great kind of dodger and kind of with the ball in his stick. I think he'll have the ball in his stick for them a lot next year. But it's you lose Duffy, PJ Brown hit some shots from them from the outside. I don't know what they're really going to kind of do on that offense, because guys with one stick, it's going to be Scanlon, and then you're going to need a lot more from Adam Olmstead. He was great, as a sophomore. I think he's really good, 25 and 21.
Alex McGovern as well, you're going to need some stuff, too.
Yeah, you're going to need... McGovern, is he graduating, or is he...
I think he's a senior next year. He'll be a senior next year.
He was a senior this year. Maybe he was a...
Oh.
I think he was a senior this year, yeah. So, or maybe...
Those guys have confused me. McGovern is a senior.
Yeah, on the defense side of the ball, you're bringing back Ryan McNulty will be back. Alex Johnson will be back. Cam Wires is a freshman will be back. That defense will have to get better because they were not great this year.
Yep.
If you lose Jacob Stover, I mean, he saved
Yeah.
them a lot, saved them 58%. So
Cornerstones.
you lose a first-team All-American type goalie, and you lose a kind of generational attackman, and you didn't make the Final Four the last 3 years of Pat being there, with Pat and Stover, the last 3 years. I think they're going to be trending down. Other teams trending High Point trending up. High Point trending up.
Denver's going to trend down.
Yes,
I think.
I agree.
They just did not look good this year, and we saw Brett Bowes. Okay, he's a good face-off guy.
We saw the
but not
difference between a
that
good face-off guy and a
average or a little bit above average face-off.
I mean, you're looking at this on the offensive side of the ball. You still got Ethan Walker. You got Jack Hanna, who was good, but you lose Austin French and Colton Jackson.
Jack Simmons.
Like your third leading returning scorer is Ellis Guys, who had 25 points.
He missed. I think the last few games of the year. The last game was April 9th against Georgetown.
This was a defensive team that's going to lose.
Cole French will have to be a stunning goal, and he was kind of one similar to Georgetown, where he was a freshman. He got put in late. Alex Trent didn't do a lot that much.
It's some good games at times, but I mean, this was a defensive team that's going to lose Dylan Gaines, that's going to lose Matt Neufeld. Dylan Johnson. I mean, will he get another year?
No, it doesn't sound like he will.
So there you go. You're going to lose Dylan Johnson, Matt Neufeld, and Dylan Gaines. And this was a defensive team. John Ober as well. He was solid. Like a defensive team that's losing. It's
Danny Logan's probably your best defensive player. He's your shorty.
That's a lot to lose in terms. Like Dylan Gaines and Dylan Johnson were two great guys. I mean, Matt Neufeld bringing him over was a big coup as an.
Colton Jackson also gone from the midfield.
Yeah. So. I mean, this was a defensive team that's going to lose a lot on defense and on offense. It's been 2 years in a row now where there has not been the pop on the offensive side of the ball for them the way it used to be. So, yeah, I think that's a team that could be on the downtrend.
What do we think about Delaware as a team trending up?
Yes, I agree. I think they could win the CAA next year. I mean, it's hard to see. Charlie Kitchen was great.
Towson loses a lot of guys. UMass loses Scanone.
Charlie Kitchen,
Ty
Birch is a freshman, is great. They do lose Joe Isley and D. Simone in Delaware, so those are tough guys. But they played some freshmen. Clay Miller was solid.
Ty Kurtz really good.
Yeah, Ty Kurtz obviously. Defensively, you look at it. I mean, they're another team that needs a face-off. They couldn't win face-offs at the last. I think it's why they lost the. But Zach Strassner is a defender. He's back. You kind of get some guys back. Kind of the short stick defense midfield. Hopefully, Jake Hervada going to get another year?
We'll see.
He only played 2 games, and that was tough for them. I mean, if he gets another year, he's a good face-off guy. That could help them a bit. I do think Delaware's trending up. I mean, Towson, you would say.
Do we think just quickly Drexel? Do we think they could? They beat UMass. They lost to Towson in the CAA game, but I could see them. They could. I think I could see them contending in the CAA if the Towson and UMass teams are down next year.
I don't know.
And a lot of those guys. Marshall King's a big loss.
Yeah, I mean that wasn't really a young team. It's a team that'll be experienced, and that helps. But it's kind of hard to look at 7 and 8 teams who have a lot of juniors and seniors and be like, you're gonna get a lot better because you kind of are what you are. I mean, they have talent. Matthew Varian was great. Reed Bellring is great. Jack Mulcahy is a freshman. He was good. If he can step up. Ryan Gennord, they'll need him to kind of step up. I could see them maybe contending. I guess teams trending. I mean, it's not, but flat. Carolina. Just kind of
Kane Johnson, probably one of the best goalies. I mean, he would have been first team all freshman if he played more than 6 games.
Adding Unterstein was big. I mean, he improved that defense in JIF. This is their best defense in a long time. Problem is, I think Timmy Kelly's got another year, or
he's graduating.
So yeah, he was your best offensive.
Well, you have a lot of young guys there too.
They do have a lot of young guys.
Brian Cameron. I think Justin Anderson's going to be your veteran guy. He's got 1 year left.
William Perry, from the midfield, and he had 26 goals. He's good. Justin Anderson's fine. That midfield is kind of going to be what they're leaning on, and that midfield is okay. It's average. I don't know. To me, it's just where's the elite talent? Will Bowen was supposed to be their guy, and I mean he'll going back will help them have a really good defense, and they'll be a really good defense, I expect. But he's
got to replace Rowlett. Who goes?
Yeah, where's the elite? I mean, like they lose Halpert, they lose Rowlett.
Peden, I think, gone.
Yes. I expect they'll be going defense. So Bowen comes back, and Caton Johnson was really good, and they were a good defensive team this year. But it's like, where's the offense coming from? I mean, if Solomon can be big, that would help, But it's this. I mean, that team hasn't really had an elite offensive player since Luke Goldstock. Cloutier was. Cloutier was really good, but he wasn't Sankey or Bitter or Goldstock for me, and so it's a couple years now. And this is a team that hasn't made the tournament 2 years in a row and hasn't won a tournament game 3 years running. They're trending flat.
I think going with trending upwards, this might not be a no duh. Utah, Cleveland State even.
Yeah.
Cleveland State went 8-7 as independent. Let's say this: they need to find a conference.
Yeah.
I think they could have won the MAC. If we're being honest, I think they could have won the MAC this year, and it'll be tough for them.
Yeah.
In 2 years, when they lose all this kind of talent, guys like Danny Tesler and guys like Michael Wilson.
Yeah, they're relying quite a bit on kind of that class. They need some freshmen to come in and kind of. Yeah. They had some good ones, but they need.
But it's that you're getting to that year 4 bump. Maybe they had it at year 3.
They need a bit more from their freshmen.
But heck, Utah 5-10. They got some really good wins. They played very close against some teams. Some mental lapses, some mental mistakes. But other than that, I think they could be a dominant team.
Yeah, I mean the future is very bright there. I mean next year,
plus Colin Burke going to Utah. Some Notre Dame guy also going to Utah as well. They'll be getting some of those big guys.
They played a crap ton of freshmen, so I think they'll be better.
Yeah.
Trending flat as well. Notre Dame just kind of there again. 9-7. They bring back Costabile. They lose Brendan Gleeson. Brian Willetts will be back. Morin and Jacobois were good as sophomores. They played some young guys. Kind of defensively.
Cohen back. Need a goalie.
Keelty will be back.
Krantz is the only one that leaves, and Sean's.
Yeah, the goalie play they never really quite figured out.
Schmidt, John Zulo, I don't have.
Charles Leonard helped them out a lot as a face-off guy. So they could get better. I think Adam had them 6th in his preseason rankings. I think that's fine, but it's again this senior class for Notre Dame did not make a Final Four, and that was the first one for a long time for them.
And who knows what happens? Maybe how that defense is affected if Byrne does leave for Harvard.
Yeah, that's a big thing to look out for. Trending. I think we kind of hit everyone in terms of the trends.
What do you think about Cornell?
Well, they're the biggest disappointment.
Yep.
Yeah, we did. We were wrong. We just. Yeah. People said Final Four team. That was the view of them. And this year they are. I mean, just Teat got worse. I don't know why, but he wasn't the player he was last year.
They didn't face guard him either.
Yeah, I mean, teams eventually kind of quit with that. I mean, they lose Clark Peterson, so that's got off to replace. They do bring back Piatelli, he's great. They lose Jake McCulloch, he was good. They're going to need something for that midfield. That midfield doesn't got a lot of juice to it. Donville's going to get better. Connor Fletcher and Cooper Telesco as juniors just didn't do enough for them. I mean, face-offing was their big issue. If they had gotten TD, obviously that would have helped phenomenally. Chase Earlin, I think, really helped things as a goalie for them when he came in.
Yep.
Because Kalen Bullen was bad. But
again, when I heard Kalen Bullen was starting, I'm surprised because I heard things
good last year.
You could be solid at times. You could also be very bad at times. It's a very on and off, hot and cold goalie.
They got the cold this year. But yeah, I mean, even they weren't bad, but it's you look at their record. They beat Hobart, okay. They beat Lehigh when Lehigh was missing all their dudes.
Their best win was Notre Dame.
They played all, but they beat Albany. Albany sucked. Their best one was Towson, I think, when they smoked Towson, 18-11. Then they beat St. Bonaventure, whatever, Dartmouth, whatever, Harvard, whatever, Brown, whatever, Princeton, whatever.
Notre Dame was on the road.
Yeah, and the Notre Dame, and then, that was a good win over Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So they had good wins over Notre Dame and Towson, but for the most part, their wins were just, They never looked like. Did they ever look like a great team? No. They never at any point looked like a.
They had good losses against top 10 teams, but never really had a chance to get one of those.
They got blown out by Penn State. They got blown out by Yale. They got blown out by Yale again. They played one. One of their losses was close, and it was Penn. Otherwise, they got blown out in all the losses, and that highlighted.
And it was triple overtime, I think, or overtime. It was overtime. Overtime.
Yeah, the Yale one was the
triple overtime.
Yeah. So,
what do you think about Ohio State too? They're a weird team.
They were a disappointment a bit. But I think they're a team that's going to.
I was thinking where they're trending up down, but
I say
they're a weird team.
Flat, but I think they're going to be better. LeClaire's going to be back. Jackson Reed's going to be back. Jack Myers as a freshman was good. He'll be back. The only guy they lose on offense is Jack Jasinski. They get Tarafanko back at short stick D mid. They get Justin Inacio back. He's a great face-off guy. Jeff Henrik back on defense. Dues Matt Borges. Evan Riss is a sophomore. Goalie play, Josh Kirsten's only a sophomore, so he's going to be back for them. I think that's a team that's going to... They should make the NCAA tournament next year. I think that is a fully reasonable expectation for that team, and I think it'll probably happen. I mean, you look at it, like, they played badly, but, I mean, they could have beaten Maryland, and if they had, they probably would have been in the NCAA tournament. The Michigan loss was definitely a bad one, but... I think they'll be better, and so I mean, it's trying to maybe a bit flat. I mean, you look at their recruiting class. They bring in Grant Mitchell in midfield. He's an elite 5-star recruit from Coward Hall. They also got a lot of midfielders. They got a really strong recruiting class, top 10. So I think they might determine next year. Biggest disappointment. Yeah, Cornell for sure. Hopkins. Yeah, that was a disappointment.
Yeah.
For sure. The whole of the conference was not as good as it thought, but they still should have had 2 teams in the Final Four. So, I mean, no, they had a. Yeah, the meme. Yeah.
Yeah, the meme. You memes here.
Other disappointments.
Michigan?
No, Michigan. I mean, they were a disappointment.
We all do every year.
But we all much.
Yeah, they missed out on that, but I think also injuries.
No, they didn't make the NCAA tournament. Right?
Yeah, they missed. It was Army.
Chris, you picked them to make the Final Four in the preseason.
They are close, but then injuries happen.
And they lose everybody, so that's not good. And they might lose their coach. So
Pettit comes back. That helps, but I don't think it's still not enough. If they didn't have injuries, they would have probably won the Patriot League. I don't think. But even when they had the guys back, they lost Boo Hall, they lost Hagenberger, they lost a good amount of guys. The injury bug. It's worse than the swine flu, maybe. Debatable.
Talking about tire fires, Albany. That was a wreck. No, we had them in the top 20, and they finished 5-9.
There were people that thought they were going to be good too.
Like they finished.
The Dane train just left the tracks.
People still thought they were going to win the America East. And in the America East, their results were they beat UMass Lowell, beat Binghamton, they beat Hartford, they lost to Vermont, they beat UMBC, and they lost to Stony Brook and Vermont to end the year. They didn't even make the America East championship game.
No, they lost.
They lost to Harvard. That team sucked. I mean, they were really bad. And I don't know where anything is coming from there. Because that team is... not really young, like the freshman.
Dehoka, as much of a sensation he was his freshman year, we found out he is just a shooter and he's not a quarterback for the offense. It's Patterson. Patterson's probably their best player on offense.
Yes.
Eccles is gone. They put a new goalie in the America East semifinal game. They put in Ramos in over Nate Sikierski.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially a one-finger salute, too, I saw.
They sucked. And I don't know how much it's going to get better. That's not good. Talk about disappointments. Princeton. I mean, I didn't think they were going to be good, but it's like, what are we doing?
With Michael Sowers, too.
I mean, what are we doing here? Like, Michael Sowers is about to be a senior. Well, they don't have a coach, okay? They got an offensive coordinator as masquerading as a coach. Like, you know, they promoted Madeline to head coach, and you know what? You should have got a real coach. I mean, and look, this team is getting worse with Madeline. Every year that Michael Sowers has been there, they're getting worse. They were his freshman year. They were 9-6 and 4-2 in the Ivy. The next year, they were 8-5 and 3-3 in the Ivy, and they missed the Ivy League tournament. This year, they were 7-7 and 2-4 in the Ivy, and missed the Ivy League tournament again. They made the Ivy League tournament one time in the last 4 years. And I'm sure that Ryan and people will still rank them top 20 next year. But no, I mean, it's like, what are we doing here? Like, Michael Sowers, you're gonna lose Michael Sowers, and yeah, you had two of the best players of this entire generation, and you are going to make, like, one tournament win. Yeah. Great stuff. Sucks. Should have fired. They should.
What about really good teams? What about breakthrough teams? Or surprise teams?
And, yeah, High Point.
Army?
Yeah, Army, yeah. These were all teams trending up that surprised.
I'd say Mount St. Mary's, even though they lost in the NEC semis, they had a great year in the number one seed in the NEC.
Richmond.
I'd even say Quinnipiac. With the fact that they had no fall ball, their head coach got canned. They went to the MAC championship game. They lost to Marist by a goal.
BU, but no losing Chris Grice, so. Hobart was a goal away from going to the tournament, and they bring back a lot. Eric Holden, Ryan Archer, Jason Knox was a freshman, Justin Scott, Derek Madonna was a freshman, Tommy Mott. Who? Well, yeah, I said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said Hawkins. We just didn't decide to put much into it because...
Yeah, we know. Air Force, I'd say, was a good surprise.
Marist was good. They played a lot of freshmen, too. Someone needs to hire Keegan Wilkinson. That team should not be as good year in and year out as they are. He does a really good job there. Sacred Heart had a good year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, they lose
Sagisi,
Tuttle, and O'Reilly. And if J.L. Reppert gets the Navy job, I'm expecting to Mike Chanichuk.
I would think that Chanichuk might take the offense.
We'll go to Maryland's offensive coordinator, and Chanichuk's done a great job with that offense. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I get, like, another thing is St. Bonaventure, like, all right, they're winless. We know. But they made some strides as a first year, and you could tell they were a different program from that shutout loss to High Point to the end of the season. They had some games where they were kind of in it, especially against Monmouth on that Tuesday night game, one of their 3 home games they had all year. But that's a team that got some trending movement upward.
Yeah, I mean, it's St. Bonaventure is fine. Like, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Holy Cross? Holy Cross puts together.
Oh my God! Yes.
Yeah, they put together a decent year.
Yeah.
You know,
first ever non-under 500 year, I believe. Holy Cross. Peterburg interim head coach, and he finally got hired.
They'll be experienced. They'll be an experienced team next year. Patriot League, I believe, will be wide open. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but go ahead.
Oh yeah.
played competitive, but no, I mean not really competitive against Maryland. But they started 3-2. Started 3-2. They beat Syracuse, beat Binghamton, but Binghamton's bad. They lost to Maryland. They lost a close one to Lehigh, and then beat BU. And they beat BU, and it looked like okay, got back on track and they start well. Then they lost 7 of their last 8, and the one was Lafayette. That sucked.
Bryant? Disappointment? They were
that disappointment? I don't know. They lost a lot. They lost a lot of guys from the previous year's team.
UMBC, maybe. I think with the run that they had at the end, that improbable run, I'd say that's a good year.
Yeah.
And winning that game over Marist in the playing game.
Yeah. Ryan Moran's name was thrown around a bit with Navy. I don't know if anything's going to come of that, but I mean, but that would suck to lose him. I doubt it. Yeah, but that would suck to lose him. Siena year 1, not bad with Liam Gleason, won 6 and 7. Okay, they were a senior kind of heavy team. Those I heard them a bit. I mean, the thing is, they bring back that entire offense. The whole lot of it. Kahn, Kirst, Campbell, McManus, Daly, Overbay. Whole lot of it. Problems, TJ Camizo was fantastic. He's gone.
Best shorty in the game last year.
Yeah.
Depending on what people think about Zach Goodrich, I think he was better.
He's gone. They lose Ubriaco, who was good as a freshman for them at the poll. They're gonna
get Matt Webster back from
was good
injured last year. He'll be back.
I don't know. I mean, it would on paper they're a top.
Will Vitton was a good goalie.
Yeah, on paper they're a top 20 team, but the problem is it feels like this is the perfect thing for Villanova to lure everyone in and expect things, and then disappoint. I don't know. I guess we can I mean, quickly through the top 20 down the year and kind of give yay, nay, like in terms of teams. Virginia, yay.
Yay.
Yale, yay.
Yay.
Penn State, yay. Duke, yay.
Yay.
Penn, yay. Maryland, yay.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean, they should have made the Final Four, and they were a quarterfinal in a rebuilding year. Loyola, nay.
Nay.
They need to get to a Final Four, Pat. Notre Dame, flat,
nay.
Whatever.
Costco had a great year, but
Towson, yay, but they're gonna. I mean, they're going down next year. Syracuse,
expected.
Yeah, they were kind of ended up being what I expected.
I'd say last year was more of a yay than this year.
Fine.
Most likely.
Yeah, they were good. Hopkins, nay.
Hey.
That was a big bad year.
The greatest. Maybe I think they are the greatest 500 team in the history of college lacrosse, surpassing North Carolina 2 years ago.
Georgetown, yay. Cornell, Army. No, bad. Army, yay. High Point, yay. Denver, Richmond, yay. UMass, yeah, you know, I mean, that team was the favorite in the CAA, and they brought back a lot. They brought back Scanone and Papero. I mean, Towson getting great, you know, change. We did not expect Towson to be that good, but I don't know. I mean, a lot of their losses were close, so they were good.
Yay.
No, I did. They brought back a lot of guys from a great team, like.
Had a similar year than last year, too.
So,
started out slow. They had a very good start.
I think they're kind of in the middle. Ohio State, also in the middle. We didn't expect a lot. We didn't expect a lot, and then they rose the expectations, and then they kind of went back. And then Carolina, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next?
What do we have next?
Or do we want to, like, go to, I don't know,
Is this all from our college stuff?
Game of the year?
See that.
Yale Penn?
Yeah. Which one?
Oh, the tournament one. Yeah. Yale Penn, the tournament one. Mm-hmm. Maryland, Virginia was also great.
There were a ton of them. I think maybe the entire quarterfinal round was.
Yeah. For the Virginia Duke semi was really good.
Yep.
The Maryland Towson was great. I mean, they were just throwing games out. But yeah, Yale Penn. The Hopkins Penn State game, too. I think to the Big Ten championship. That was the game of the year until Yale Penn for me.
Yep. Yeah.
Player of the year, I think we all would say Grant Ament.
I'd say Grant Ament. Boom.
Goal of the year? I don't know. I hate doing that stuff, but I don't know.
Oh well, look, I had the Grand Amend Shimmy Shake on my top place before executive decisions made Pat Spencer's goal against Syracuse #1. I still stand with the Shimmy Shake Grand Amend against Yale in the regular season game.
That was great.
But Pat Spencer, his acrobatic goal against Rutgers was also probably the image of the year.
The Bernhardt goal against Towson was really good.
Yeah.
Like player or team? Single game performance by a team. Maybe.
I was gonna say one of those Virginia comebacks.
Virginia over Yale in the title game was a great performance.
Yeah.
I think that deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
As far as individual player, Grant Amen against Loyola was kind of nuts. Amen, yeah, those were nuts. Him against Rutgers in the Big Ten is 7. Hopkins the first game against 7.
Spencer had some good games against Hopkins.
Spencer against Syracuse, I think.
Yeah.
Might be it. I mean, he just carried them in that game. I mean, we said if they can hold Pat
that was
to
a Sports Center highlight.
Like if they can hold Pat to 6 to win, but there's a chance he could drop 9, and he ended up dropping 9. Hell, Pat against Penn State, he had 6 and 5, and they lost by 7. That's ridiculous. Penn State was ridiculous the whole year, but until for one game. I'm trying to think of other ones. That one, I mean, that one TD game where he went perfect. The Georgetown game.
Well, TD against Georgetown too.
The Georgetown one. You know, we set the.
We could also thank Chris Yastrzemski for his entire year with ESPN that gave Quint Kesnick a comment on his Instagram page where
amazing.
He said I was the greatest addition to ESPN's lacrosse history.
Ever.
That might be up there.
Incredible. Michael Sowers had 7-1 against Cornell. They lost, but that was an incredible game. Of course, Michael Sowers scored 7 goals and they lose. Losers. They got so much other crap on there.
It's better than the other people that produce our stuff now. We might be going out of business shortly, hopefully.
Right. Do we have anything? Wait. Do we have anything? Moment of the year. If we're being honest, the crossbar.
Yeah, that does.
Change the whole season, and we'll probably maybe change the rules.
Yeah,
that's a storyline. Yeah, instant replay might be. I would expect after the crossbar. Yeah.
Yep.
Hard to go against that one. Any other ones I can think of? There were a lot of great games this year. But that stands out.
Yeah. I think the stick from Lars, that wooden stick that his father had, was big.
Nice.
And he might actually, the fact that he might play with it at Lake Placid, and he was, I asked him, like, "Oh, you think you're going to play with it at Placid?" Like, "Oh, I think I might." I think that says a lot about how much he has the spirit of the sport in him. And he's a great guy, and I've known him since around that run in 2016. A great, genuine guy. Stav is great. I know Sean Curran is great. Honestly, like, if I'm being a little bit biased, I do hope he kind of gets a really good head coach job in the near future. But Curran's great. Lars Tiffany's great. They're two great guys, and I was very happy that they won this year, and especially with the storylines that Lars had.
High Point's win over Duke to Virginia. Their fans never let us hear the end of it, but they never will. Nope. But those were
Not at all.
Those were two great wins. Gotta give them that. Can't. I don't know. The Penn State run just the whole year was. If they won that tournament, they would have been the best team of the decade.
Yeah.
And they came up short, and maybe they peaked
Who
too
is
early.
the best team of the decade?
Well, we're getting to that. Well, wait. We gotta wait.
Oh, okay.
Probably this summer.
Nice.
It's probably soon. Maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on Ryan. Depending on Ryan, the College Cross All-Decade Awards will be coming this summer. We have just to try. We've already pretty much filled out our All-Decade team. So
Yep.
full team. We have programs. So, which program was successful? We've got games, coaches, moments, and individual teams. Kind of what Chris was, thinking about. So, yeah, that will come out at some point.
That's what we call a tease in the TV industry.
Yes, sir. Okay, what was the mailbag question?
Let's go to the mailbag. Mailbag. Okay, of course. Wait, on the chat on YouTube. The YouTube live chat is alive. Yes.
Okay.
Well, we kind of mentioned that earlier on. There were names being thrown out. Don't know how reliable it is. Reppert, Nadalin, Toomey. I have absolutely no clue. There's nothing being set in stone that I've heard. But it sounds like Navy wants a big name coach.
Well, this is the thing that I'm not getting. They want a big name coach. Okay. Cool. I mean, look, then zero in on a guy and go get him. I don't know. I mean, it's for me, yes, they had to call Tillman, and because he was their guy, their number one candidate. Cool. But the fact that Tillman thing, based on what was reported, it felt like that Tillman thing went on longer than a 3-minute conversation, and all it needed to be was a 3-minute conversation, because Tillman was never leaving Maryland for Navy. And so, if Navy spent any more time on that than, hey John, do you want the job? No, then I don't know. Maybe Tillman humored them if it was respectful, and said, wait till the end of the season. No, you should not have waited. He was never taking the job. So Charlie Toomey's name was kind of in the rumor mill a lot, and then it disappeared. So I don't know. Sean Nadalin, I don't think Sean Nadalin's leaving Towson, but if you want him, go freaking get him. Go put a bunch of money on his doorstep and do it. Feels like they're going around in a million, kind of different directions here, and it's pick one and go. And it feels like they're going to end up hiring Reppert, which we all knew that they were going to hire to begin with. So I don't know.
I think it's their fallback school.
I mean, he'll take the job, and I think he'll do pretty well, but, I don't know. It's if you want a big name, zero in and get one. Don't go in, 10 million different directions here to try and find the right one.
That'll be...
No!
I'll sadly... So, I think, what was the question? I'll try to answer it as short as possible.
Save it.
Ryan, I can go in our DMs and I can find it. Well, look, I'll just say this. If you want to read my pro lacrosse stuff,
yeah, it's on website,
there. collegecross.com.
I mean, it shouldn't be there because we're College Cross, but, you know what? No, we're not going to be cowards. Let's do next season.
Oh, no!
Let's do it.
We are going to have a 2-hour podcast.
Name your Final Four right now.
VMI, Hampton, Cleveland State, Utah.
Next year's Final Four. Go.
VMI, Cleveland State, Hampton, Utah. There we go. You heard it here first.
Okay, go, Ron. Wow, very original. Yeah, I think I'm also going to go Penn State, Yale, Maryland, Virginia. But if Chris Gray goes to Duke, I think I might slot Duke in there for Yale or Virginia. But yes, Penn State, Yale, Maryland, Virginia. That's mine. Duke, yeah, Duke's 5. And then I think it's a whole big cliff off, for them. No, that's not happening.
Who knows?
Maybe if they actually knew how to recruit.
Yeah, they know who Chris Gray is. I'd go again. I already said mine, but if you want to be real again and we want to give you a second chance, that's great.
Yeah.
Penn State, Virginia, Yale, and I'll go Maryland. It's June 3rd, 2019.
So what?
There
are
still people that are needing to be going to rosters and coaches that need to be on teams and
get your neck out there. Be alive.
People that need to be injured. Sorry, injured people.
That need to be injured.
That makes a difference. We saw with Lehigh.
It does.
Did you rally my Final Four pick?
What was our worst? My worst pick of the year was almost burying Virginia 6 feet under in February, and then they went and won the title.
Yeah, mine was Lehigh.
It was just Lehigh. What was Ryan's? No.
No, that's bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were bad.
That was rough.
I
don't know, man. You ranking Hopkins over Towson after Towson boat raced him was, hell of a time to be alive. Or when he was still trying to talk about getting 4 teams in at the end of the year. It's like, no, man, just settle for 3. Just settle for 3.
You did, pick-wise.
What were our Final Four? My Final Four was, I think, Penn State, Penn, Maryland, and Hopkins. So I did not do well. I should have got Maryland, though. I'll never get over that. That was a crime.
I don't even know what mine were except Lehigh. I don't even remember.
No, I was talking about before the tournament. I don't remember what it was before the season.
Because I was working the selection show, by the way.
Before the season, I can't even remember before the season. No. Yeah. I thought you had Penn. I think you had Penn. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but yeah, I think that. Yeah, I can remember. I know I picked Maryland, and I think I picked Duke and Yale as well, and so I kind of got 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they will next year. Sounds good.
Before we go, I had Chinese food, as many people saw. I have some fortune cookies for everyone to share.
Oh, wow.
Our first one, punctuality is the politeness of kings and the duty of gentle people everywhere. That's going in the trash. I don't know what the hell that means. Second one, never throw caution to the wind. That's also trash. So it was a pretty crappy 2 fortune cookies.
What time to be alive? It's me and Ryan did 7,500 hits on one of them. If you're gonna be away in July, then this all decade content is coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're done, I'm not waiting till August. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it fast and furious. Yes, but it will be coming soon if Ryan has July, fully booked. So. At Jake_Nazar.
And at CF Jastrzemski. Quick things, I mentioned this pro thing.
You're not
My
at CF
attendance.
Jastrzemski.
Oh, at Chris_Jast, I'm sorry. My account's not up yet. PLL announced their attendance total 13,068.
Don't care.
Over their 3 games. So my guess is they just take that divided by 3.